Francis-Xavier Sosu is a Ghanaian lawyer, human rights advocate, and politician with the National Democratic Congress. Born on February 12, 1979 in Accra, Newtown, he hails from Denu in the Volta region. He attended St. John's Grammar School and the University of Ghana, where he earned degrees in sociology and law before being called to the bar in 2010. Sosu also holds master's degree in oil and gas law, economic policy management, and conflict and human rights studies. As human rights and public interest lawyer, he founded FX Law and Associates in 2012 and now serves as managing partner. Elected in 2020, he is the Member of Parliament for the Madina Constituency and Deputy Ranking Member on the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee. In 2023, he championed the law abolishing the death penalty in Ghana. Beyond politics, Sosu is also a musician known as Son of Grace and released his debut song, Grace for Race, in 2024. He is married with 4 children and describes his journey as one of faith, grace, and perseverance.
One of grace and perseverance, and that's how he sums up his story. It's a very incredible story, really, really incredible story. Honorable is in still with me. Honorable, good morning. Good to have you.
Yeah, good morning, and it's good to be here.
It's really good to have you. Really, really good to have you.
It's good to be here. I know it was such a struggle because, this time we have what we call the budget hearing.
Yes.
And also working in the majority side now, serving on 4 different committees of Parliament, and then
which on
the Foreign Affairs Committee, the Human Rights Committee, the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, and then now the ranking member for the Subsidiary Legislation Committee.
That's a lot of work.
Yes. So almost all the LIs that we're working and processing, you need to keep working on them, and also serving us with a technical team that is also working on some virtual assets law with the BOG. So it's quite a lot of work now. And of course, serving also as a board member for the GRA. So
it's a lot of work you've taken upon yourself.
So it gets so busy now. Yes. So I'm happy that I was able to find the time to be here today.
How's the experience been though? 2 terms in Parliament, now you're in the majority, of course, relatively comfortable, if you want to put it in quotes,
Well, not relatively comfortable because I think that the overwhelming majority that Ghanaians gave us places a lot of burden on us to deliver. And so for me, on a daily basis, you are thinking about how do you improve roads in Madina, how do you intervene for people who have critical issues, and at the same time, how do you combine that with your legislative roles that you have in Parliament. And then, of course, still practicing my law. So it's quite a difficult combination.
Will you say the pressure on you now has increased because your party is in government compared to when you're in opposition?
Well,
in the constituency, I mean.
Well, I think the pressure definitely has increased because once you're in power, the young people are looking for jobs. And you can't say that you can't do anything about it.
Your constituency is big.
It is really, really big. I mean, 2010, Madina was about 110,000. Now we are close to 260,000. I mean, approximately. The voter population has increased to almost 160,000. Our delegates alone are almost like 3,000.
Wow.
So, and these are people that are your direct party people that would be calling you from time to time asking for one favor or the other. So it is a lot. It is a lot of pressure for a young man like me. The pressure is almost making me grow quick fat,
But one of the things I'm sure your constituents were also looking forward to, I know you've gotten engaged in a number of committees in Parliament, you've gotten engaged on the board and GRA. They were also looking forward to, because you were very vociferous in opposition, one of the most vociferous, members of Parliament, and we're waiting to see you in the ministerial lists. And I'm sure your constituents were waiting to see you there.
That one, well, I think that God has time for everyone. And there is, there is time for everything. You just mentioned that a love song. One of the songs that I love most is Seni Doswa Oni Wukosi Se Anu Doswa Oni Wukosi Etoda Miye Di Sheno Miye Ku Sheno Ansana Odiwa Betre. So there are times you just have to wait patiently for His timing. I believe in the perfect timing of God. I believe I can work as a minister, but that power.
Have you got any of the sectors that you think?
No, I think that by God's grace, I have a very vast background, like the BA in sociology, before it was sociology and archaeology actually.
Yes.
And then an LLB, then LLB, the LLM is oil and gas law.
Okay.
And then I have an MPhil in human rights, peace and conflict studies. Before I have an MA in economic policy management, right?
That's well-rounded.
I just completed my PhD, waiting for the third reviewer. Once it works through, it means that I may have a PhD in regional integration laws, and perhaps we'll be graduating next year by God's grace. So it's quite a lot of work, So wherever the Lord places you,
you can fit in anywhere.
Wherever the Lord places you, can do.
That's support. That is really incredible, really incredible. I want us to go a little back. Okay, I want us to go a little back, and two numbers come to mind: 12 and 8. 12, relation to your mom. And 8, the first time you went to school. Wow. Let's start with 12.
Well, my mom, as a young child, was taken to the Trokoshi shrine to atone for the sins of her forefathers. And this is a story I've shared over and over again in a book titled Homeless. And there is a new one to have done in honor of her, titled Woes of My Mother. That shares a full story about how she ended up at a shrine and escaped from the shrine when she was 17 years old.
And she went there at the age of 12.
Yes.
Very young.
So without education, no training, nothing. And so life has been really difficult for her before she actually met my dad, who also never went to school. And both of them gave birth to 6 of us. Our firstborn blind. She was not born blind. She only had measles. And my parents those times had a worldview of witchcraft and things. So they thought that she was being bewitched or something. So they couldn't seek medical attention until she became blind. Our second-born dropped out of school, and I was the third. And so struggling to, fit in, turn all of us into, sellers and traders around. I would pass for all the young boys around the streets selling, and I recall this area, Kokomemli, all the way to Circle. I used to do Aswakane Crazy Low.
Yeah.
You sell Crazy from Newtown all the way to Circle in the evenings. And Accra Newtown 8 and 6 primary was when I had to start. And I recall when I began with Mofra Chepe. It's also at Accra Newtown. It's in the enclave there. At 8, when the young men were calling me Day Papa, and all that.
I started school at the age of 8.
At the age of 8, when and I had friends that also were old who just gave up and left. But sometimes the speed in life of a person is determined by what is chasing him, right? I knew that I was being chased by poverty, low self-image. When you come home, there is nothing. So I kept going. And in fact, I dare say that I love school more than home, because home was, hard labor. And the school was where
there's a bit of freedom.
That's where you have some freedom. So, but once you leave the corridors of school, you know that when we're in the morning shift, once you close, you are back on the street selling. In the afternoon shift, you go sell in the morning. Then when it's 12 o'clock before you come to school, so...
In the mornings, what did you sell?
Oh, I used to sell asana.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes I sell meat pie.
Wow.
I recall there were days that I was knocked down by bicycles or some motorcycles.
Wow.
From time to time. And so, it was
So you sell meat pie asana in the morning, and you come and do kerosene in the
evening, yeah. And then over the weekends, anything my mom sells, we sell. Because my mom was such an industrious woman, very compassionate industrial woman who just held all of us together. And she would sell her last cloth to make sure that she gets you going, you know. And when there is fresh fish, we'll do or we'll fry it and we'll do it into like fried fish. If it is out of season, we'll do odemla. Then you see that odemla, you know odemla, right? Brian, like.
Oh, that's
odemla. That's a gang.
Okay, because I was
odemla is odemla.
Yeah, boiled. I like it with the
with the coconut. Yeah, and those days, you know, we had the WAS had just begun at Newtown, and then they had Freeman hostels, and that's where we used to sell the odemla and all that.
Wow. And when I like it though. It's a really nice.
It's still my favorite.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Still your favorite?
Oh yeah, because we agree with it. That's why I hardly do the chickens and then because like now you have it, but you can't even eat it because you were never trained with them, right?
Yeah. Then fast forward, you were adopted by
the Village of Hope Orphanage. That was when I was in the senior high school at St. John's Grammar School. At St. John's, apart from the admission fee that my mother borrowed money to pay, I went to school for all the 3 years without paying any school fees. And then I recall the many times that the teachers would come and lash me, these hot lashes, and throw you out. And I'll go and come back. I was so notorious. And I was a very, very, very notorious defaulter.
Because of your death. And
I don't even understand why teachers beat kids for school fees. I mean, they are not done paying their fees, so why are you beating them? So, but unfortunately, we carry the cross of our parents. When we go to the classroom, they sack you. We'll go and come.
And even when you became school prefect, you were still being sacked?
No. When I became school prefect, at that time, I had actually graduated from living on the streets here.
Okay.
Because at a point in time, my parents moved from here to Taifa, Newtown. And I couldn't leave school to join them.
Yeah.
So I stayed at Malata Market. So I was living at the market, you know.
While in school?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was before I did my BEC. I was living at the market, Malata Market here. And every night you have to pay before you get into sleep at the daycare center.
Wow.
Yeah. And I recall the night before the last paper, it was a gun paper. It had rained and I couldn't pay, so I was sleeping in front of the kiosk. So I wore the wet uniform to go and write the last paper, which was a gun paper.
Wow.
And, you know, at Kotobabi. And so it's quite interesting. And so when my parents had relocated to Taifa, Burkina, and I got into St. John's Grammar School, my first semester, the first term, I tried to go live with them. But, you know, we're 9, living in one small single room without light. So I was learning with lantern, and, you know, the lantern was affecting my eyes. So I had to move from Taifa, Burkina back to Newtown to come and find a place to stay. And I got a small kiosk, wooden kiosk. It's still there at opposite Kotobabi police station.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I was there with one of my colleagues called Peter. And every morning we walk to Alaju, then you go to St. John's Grammar. That was the time that I met the Village of Hope Orphanage. And that time I had become the senior boys prefect, actually. But though as a senior boys prefect, I was still living in the kiosk. You know, so...
we've got a picture of you. This was just behind you. You can see.
Oh, yeah. This was my heyday.
White socks and...
Charlie, you see my boot. Charlie, I was a wild guy those days. At the St. John's Grammar, SP.
Wow.
If you don't know, you come to
This was when you were SP?
Yeah, this was when I was SP. Was it? This was when... Oh, yeah, this was when I was SP. Oh, that's Teresa. So Teresa was my girl's prefect too.
Okay.
And Maxwell was my vice, you know, or is it the deputy... How do you call it? Assistant school prefect.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Teresa is in the US
really
now.
Nice shoes. Really nice.
Oh, yeah, these shoes, it wasn't easy. This one, I wait and I'm coming like that.
Yeah, you could imagine.
You know that.
SP is coming. Everybody.
SP is coming.
Wow.
Senior Sosu is coming.
Wow. I mean, fast forward, you managed, you were done with secondary school.
Went to University of Ghana. Then... After Legon, went back to the Village of Hope to serve as the other orphans. So it was at that point that I met Don Barnett of blessed memory. And so Don Barnett at the Village of Hope personally adopted me to pay for my law school fees. In fact, he wanted me to do law in the US. So I did the LSAT and got into Pepperdine Law School, except that the fees were so much that we couldn't take it. So I said, I will come and do the Legon one. And then we came to Legon. And fast forward, here I am.
Here you are.
SOG, Son of Grace.
Awesome. It's been an incredible journey you've been on. And your story is is inspiring, and you told it vividly in that music video you did, you know, pushing track in the market. And I just saw a video on your page where you were in a car and the market woman just accosted you, and you could see how excited they were receiving you and relating with you. And I heard the story of when you were shooting the music video, how the people were surprised, like, MP has come to do this with us and all of it. Talk to us about the experience.
Well, I think it was exciting. Many people thought it was just politics as usual, but I tried to live my life without politics. I mean, I walk around, stop by, buy my wachi, eat my kinky, eat my TZ, anywhere I do. Because I believe life is simple, right? And so you must let the simplicity of life reflect in the way you deal with human beings. And for me, that's what I always seek to do. And I do these things on purpose because this generation is a misguided generation. Sorry, yes.
Why do you say so?
No, because when I look, becoming a politician is what makes me see that. Many people are misguided. You know, very misguided, and I don't know why. And
what do you think they are misguided about?
About life, perception about life, how they must live their life. Many people think that without someone either holding their hands to, for example, find a job, they will never be able to find a job. But it's not the case. I recall that I've never applied for any job before in my life. I've never. In fact, when I finished St. John's Grammar School, I used to wake up at 4 a.m. and I go around to teach extra classes just to get small money. When I started Legon, I did my first gospel album titled Onyame Mpaba, and I used to go around studios so they would play so I can get small money. And I began a small project called Frank Class at Domi, where I used to go and teach people so I can make small money. When I started law school, I wrote 3 books, Understanding the Storms of Life, Overcoming the Storms of Life, Becoming a Young Hero, and then Homeless. I was roaming everywhere, selling small to make small money. When I finished law school, after first year in law school, I began FX Law and Associate. And the firm has grown now. If you go to like East Legon now, it's a big firm. We have close to 10 lawyers and we are working.
Wow.
So I've never written an application. So I want people to understand that, yes, and but you know what? There is something in you that can propel you to wherever you want to go. It's not always dependent on any human being. If you can trust God, you can believe in you, believe in your ability, you rise and get there.
What about the system? Because they always refer to a certain system that has been created where they've seen colleagues whose hands have been held by others, they've gotten opportunities, and they're like, well, let me also follow the same path.
That is very, very correct. But you see, the world is so busy to pay attention to ordinary people and people who are thinking normally and thinking averagely. You must think beyond the average. You must go beyond the normal to be able to get abnormal results. Look, systems will always exist. Systems are designed in such a way that they are keeping all of us down. You need to think beyond the system and break through the system. Many people come in, they're like, Honorable, I want to bring my CV. I want to bring, if you can find me a job. I said, fine, look for the job. Find one, apply, and say that, Honorable, I've applied for this job in this company. Can you, if you know somebody that I can talk to? That's quite different than say, Honorable, maybe CV now. And then sometimes a parent will come and say that, I brought a CV of my son, if you can find him a job. And I ask him, where is your son? He is home playing TikTok. You see, so the generation, we are a little bit misguided. We don't see our role, our effort, taking personal obligation and personal responsibilities of our life. We are handing our life over to a system. So we are home. I mean, the job have not come. Maybe the job come, we'll do it. But they said they will create us a job. They haven't given us yet. But my brother, no. Time is going. You can do something with your life. And guess what? The system is always designed to get you down. Remember that. I recall this thing when I started this leadership journey. At Legon, I wanted to become SRC president. I aspired. I lost. Yes, I lost. Clean lose.
Safe.
Our year, our election was even cancelled. So all of us lost. So no show. When I came to law school, I was a class captain for 2 years. I wanted to stand for LSU president. I lost. Yes. Because losing is part. When I went to Makola, I was a class captain again for another 2 years. And I wanted to stand for SRC president in Makola. I lost again. I lost to Tiki. And then when, okay, let me leave that part of the story, but eventually, I mean, Samson Ladi became the SRC president of our time. When I came to Madina, the first time I lost.
Yeah.
So you see, in this our life journey, losing is part. People will always not believe in your ability. But the best you can do for yourself is to believe in yourself, believe in your ability, believe in the beauty of your dreams, and keep fighting for your dream. And someday you'll reach there.
Let's talk about fighting for things. One of the things you've been fighting for in the previous parliament, you had at least 3 bills that you were fighting for, having to do with the death penalty. That you were successful with that. Then anti-witchcraft bill. Fortunately, we were not successful with that. There was another one which had to do with the death penalty in the armed forces. That also we were unsuccessful with. But now you're also part of. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but you're part of the group who are also fighting for the proper human sexual rights bill. Especially on that one. But before we get to that one, let's talk about the anti-witchcraft bill. What's the status of that?
Well, the anti-witchcraft bill has been reintroduced. I mean, we brought it back to Parliament, it's. I mean, now the procedure for private bills has changed. It's a bit more difficult processing private bills under the new standing orders. But I can assure you that a number of them is not only the anti-witchcraft bill that is back, going back. The armed forces bill is going back. We have Honorable Kojo Oponkruma and I have just begun a process of reintroduction of the non-custodial sentences for petty offenses. We're working to declassify our offenses because we don't understand why sometimes somebody steals like a tuber of yam, call it poverty crimes, and they still have to be jailed for, say, 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years, or something.
The Chief Justice at the Vetting, responded to that. He said, well, the tuber of yam is like Mercedes-Benz for those in the villages. No,
but really, that is quite respectfully incorrect. It's not only in the villages that people say tuber of yam. I am very sure that when I was growing up in the new town areas those days, if they had arrested me, I'm sure by now I'd be in some jail. Because many times I jump over people's wall to go and find mangoes and things, they would have jailed me for unlawful entry and all those things, right? So I think that there are offenses we know as poverty offenses, and that we can declassify our system and do something around them. And I'm working also on what we call the victim support law. Because we have a system which we are talking about accused persons, but nobody's talking about the victim. So all these victims of crime, what becomes of them? How do we deal with them? How does the police deal with them? And so on and so forth. So there are a number of criminal reform interventions that we are working on, albeit on the quiet. Because once you are part of the government, most of the things are things that you champion sometimes through agencies, and it's only those that you believe that maybe if you go through agency may delay, that we bring to the floor as a private bill. So that's why we work.
Let's talk about the vetting of the Attorney General now. I mean, one of the things that has dominated the conversation had to do with, it wasn't even a major issue. It was just something he was talking about in terms of his experience and having to do with the Atai, conversation and what informed the sentencing. But what do you make of that?
Well, you're
a human rights lawyer.
No, the point is that sometimes when judges sentencing, though they have sentencing guidelines, the community sentiment can affect the way they act. In fact, there is a book I have written titled Guilty Until Proven Innocent. In that book titled Guilty Until Proven Innocent, I took time to chronicle my experiences as a criminal justice lawyer and a human rights lawyer through the various prisons that I've been to, people I've interacted with. And what I realized is that many times, for cases that have wild public uproar, most often than not, the people are even guilty before they are even brought to the court. Let me give you an example. You recall somewhere in 2015, thereabout, a young man got up and said he went to President Mohammed's church.
Yes, with a gun.
With a locally manufactured gun, with the intention to go and shoot the president. And you saw how the news broke. Breaking news. Attempted assassination on the president, coiled. And then media, it became so wild. So it means that it requires swift action. So national security, everybody got a guy. Then they did all that we could do. In a week's time, then breaking news. He's jailed 10 years. So I was like, there must be something wrong with this process. So I decided to interrogate the situation, right? I got to know that when I got a proceeding from the court and everything, then when you read the proceedings, the guy said he was guilty. And then, but he has explanation. So the judge asked him, can you explain yourself? He said, when President Mills was alive, he promised him that when he is no more, he must become president. And that now when President Mills was not there, they went and brought President Mahama. And so he has come to kill President Mahama so that he can become the president.
He can have his promise.
I'm telling you.
Clearly, something is wrong
so
upstairs.
At once, when somebody is talking like this, you want, as a judge, you should be saying that, can we do some mental evaluation or something? But they went and gave him 10 years. So I filed an application for certiorari, right? To quash the 10 years so that we can get him to psychiatric hospital. So when the application was pending, I remember those when they are bringing him from the national security, when he's coming they have their sirens. The national security officer were telling me that when the sirens are going on, I say, yes, he has got his escort. So anytime I visit him, they call him His Excellency in the cells.
So eventually what happened to you?
Eventually, the court ordered a psychiatric evaluation. Dr. Kwesi at that time assisted. It turned out that he had bipolar disorder. So he was not well.
So in the case of Atai and what the...
So in the case of Atai, there had been a series of robbery at the time. Right? And Ghanaians were upset with the operations of Atai. And I think it wasn't... and it was very, very... how will I put it? The sentiment at the time. Where that, look, this somebody who is just so bad.
We needed him to be...
Put him away forever. If there were like... If those robberies in like other jurisdictions, if they had carried their penalty, I'm sure he would have had the ultimate. But obviously... so what I'm saying is that there are sentiments and societal agitations that can influence how a judge gives a verdict. I think that
let's look into the future.
And everybody was happy about the 70 years at that time anyway. Well, very happy. Finally the man is gone. The future.
Will you ever want to be president of this country?
I don't know, but if it is in the will of God, and I mean, I'm not going to reject what the Lord has for me in the future, but I'm focused, dedicated, fighting, working, supporting my government and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to fulfill his mandate to the people of Ghana. And I believe that the future will define itself.
How do you feel about Fenyo Makin and his work?
I think that Fenyo is one of my my mentors who sometimes override, throws away all the mentorship things that he himself teaches me sometimes. So, but he's a very good friend. I mean, I love him. He's a great guy. He's a great politician. I believe that he's doing the Lord's work. He must be allowed to do his work. He is the opposition leader, so he must oppose, allow. He must allow him to do his work, except that as people who are in commanding majority now, we are also bound to use the rules to regulate how he does his work. So by all means, do your job, but we will ensure that you do it within the limit of the law.
Well, let's end with just singing, giving us a cappella of your song. Let's end with that.
Let me clear my throat.
So, guys, we're enjoying the cappella as we end, and also while we're also saying thank you to Honorable for passing through the studio. So, Honorable, let's end with it. How do you go?
In all my life, I've seen so much struggles. Throughout these years, it's been battle after battle. But Lord, you're all that I've got. So Lord, give me grace to run my race. Lord, give